Hey guys, I hope you're having a good week so far. Today, I thought I would share 3 mistakes I see some beginner pagans making. I know I have a lot of new pagans that watch my channel, so I do hope this video is useful for you all. And before we get into it, I do want to spend a moment to thank the sponsor of today's video, which is the Ridge wallet. I have the wallet right here. As you can see, it is a pretty sleek and minimalist design, especially compared to my previous wallet, which was quite a bit bulkier. And one of my favorite things about switching over to this wallet is it does force me to be a bit more minimalist when it comes to the things I carry with me on a daily basis. It does have a space for some cards that you can pop out like this, and it has a space for cash on the back. And I do really enjoy how now that I carry this wallet around, I can actually fit it in my pocket. I can fit it in a lot of my smaller purses, so it's really good for going out in the evening. And I picked up the Damascus steel design, but there are a lot of different materials that this wallet does come in. I'll put the link for this wallet as well as the promo code down below in the description box, and I'll also pop it in the comments as well. So definitely check them out if you are in the market for a new wallet. Now, back to the video. So the first mistake I see some beginner pagans making is too much focus on the reading and studying and not enough focus on the actual doing. Now, I know that when you're starting out, you can kind of get information overwhelm when it comes to paganism. There are so many different paths, there are so many different books to study, there are so many different videos on YouTube, and it can be really overwhelming and confusing to just pick a path to go down, or to pick a pantheon of deities to work with. And sometimes this information overwhelm prevents people from just getting out there and trying something and seeing if it resonates or not. So I think it's really important if you're starting out to just trust your intuition and do what feels right. Start by spending some time in nature and see how you intuitively connect with the wheel of the year and the cycles of the moon, or try some activities like leaving some offerings, decorating your altar with items you find just kind of around your neighborhood while on a daily walk, or maybe try growing some herbs. All of these activities are going to be really beneficial in terms of keeping your enthusiasm growing and reminding you of why you are even following this path in the first place. Of course, I'm not saying to not study and not learn. You do want to, of course, read and study, but it's a process and it's okay if you take it slow. You don't need to know all of the information all at the beginning. Over time, your path may change and evolve, and 5 years from now, it might look completely different than when you started. But as long as you're following your intuition here, I know you're gonna end up in the right spot. The next big mistake I see some pagans making is trying to buy all of the pagan stuff. And I think there is a lot of pressure on social media and sites like Instagram to own a bunch of altar tools and statues and to decorate these really elaborate altars. But in reality, you already have everything you need in order to be pagan. You have yourself and you have access to the natural world. And when you think about our pagan ancestors, they weren't buying a bunch of things. If they wanted a statue of a particular deity, they would go out and find a tree branch and whittle it to make their own altar statue. So I think it can sometimes be useful to reframe the discussion. Instead of thinking, what can I buy to enhance my pagan practice? Thinking of it more like, what skills can I develop to enhance my pagan practice? And there are many different crafts and skills that you can try out. There's things like candle making or broom making or wand crafting or herbalism. These are all wonderful activities that both allow you to create your own ritual tools. They are often free or really cheap, and along the process you are actually doing paganism, and through that process you are learning so much more than you could get just by going out and buying something. Now, I'm not saying never buy stuff. I myself do buy some pagan things from time to time, but I just want to tell you that you don't need to feel the pressure to own a bunch of stuff. Paganism isn't about how you look or what tools you have or what your altar looks like. It's about your beliefs and your ideas and how you interact with the wider world and with the nature all around us. So don't feel pressured to buy things when you are starting out. Of course you can if you want, but you can gain so much more by trying to make stuff or being creative and resourceful and using what you already have and what you can find out in the natural world. The last mistake I see some beginner pagans making is expecting deity interaction. And of course, every pagan has their own beliefs and viewpoints when it comes to deity, spirits, the gods, and the goddesses. But I do think often new pagans really are excited to interact with the gods, that they are constantly on the lookout for signs and symbols and synchronicities that a deity is trying to communicate with them. And sure, perhaps seeing a raven could be a symbol that represents Odin is trying to communicate with you, but also sometimes seeing a raven is just that, seeing a raven. And there's not some bigger deity interaction behind it. Now, everyone has their own views here. Personally, I kind of view the gods as more archetypal representations, meaning that my personal interactions with them are much more subtle and more like just a feeling or an intuition that I'm on the right path. I'm not saying it's impossible to have an audio or visual interaction with a deity, but I do think that is much more rare than social media would have you believe, especially on sites like TikTok, for example. So don't feel worried if you're leaving offerings or you have an altar set up and you're not really feeling that connection to a particular deity. That's totally normal. And for some people, it is much more subtle, or it's something that grows with time, and that's totally okay. So I do hope you enjoyed this short little video, and if you did, please consider liking and subscribing. And also in the comments down below, let me know if you have any tips you would like to share for beginner pagans. Anyway, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye.